Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to look at completing this little bit of side paving and starting to strip the kitchen. For those of you who haven't seen the previous episodes, originally there was soil below this wall on the right and the paving was just falling away. So starting on the corner where the paving meets the road, I needed to get a nice even base here. This is a layer of crushed stone with a layer of sand over the top. There's a string line to work to running along the wall, which shows me the slope, allowing the rain to drain off. If you look carefully, you may notice that some of these blocks are different. Some of them have like a flat end on them, and others have a curved or a wavy end on them, so they have to fit together in a particular order. It may not be too clear from this video, but each time I lay the sand I need to kind of compact it down first, and then I can just add a little bit if it needs to come up just a fraction. I'm using a rubber mallet to actually adjust the bricks and put them into place, and luckily I'm in the shade here. Being Japanese summer, it's extremely warm, in the mid-30s with really high humidity, so basically I do 10 minutes of work and then have a rest for 20 minutes just to cool off. Every so often you may notice Dash, my dog, who comes to check on my progress. He sticks around after we lost him for a few days last year, so he likes to check on what I'm doing and where I am. Where the bricks meet the wall, of course, it leaves small gaps, triangular ones. So here, just using a water bottle with a pipe from it to cool this blade on an angle grinder, just to actually cut these bricks to the right shape. And here's a shot of progress so far. I'm waiting on a delivery of stone and sand to be able to complete all of the rest of this enormous area up to the garage. Up next, it's time to use the compactor to level these blocks. This particular compactor came with a kind of rubber pad so it doesn't scuff or mark the blocks. Yeah, it's just a couple of times over just to get everything even. Next up, it was time to lay down what's called polymeric sand. Polymeric sand is a little bit like regular sand, except that it has silica added to it. It's usually a kind of man-made compound. And when water is added to it at a later stage, it sets and helps hold the pavings together. Sometimes known as jointing sand. To get it into the joints, into the gaps, I guess, it's basically brushed on the surface, trying to make sure that it goes down between all of the pavers. Some of the pavers only have about a millimetre gap between them, others have more like 2 or 3 millimetres, so it's important to make sure that it's pushed in properly and all the way down. The polymeric sand also needs to be dry and go on to dry pavers, which isn't too much of a problem in Japan's hot summers. Once all the sand has been brushed into the gaps, it's time for the final compacting. This polymeric sand is also very useful as it is very good at preventing weeds. I was wearing a mask for this. As you can see, there's a lot of dust being thrown up. It's very, very dry and very fine kind of powder consistency. So yeah, it's really important to wear a mask for this, especially as I said, it's silica based, which is not good for your lungs. Having done a final sweep, it was then time to activate the sand. As you can see, Dash is completely enthralled by a hose pipe. And here's a final shot of that edge. In case you're wondering, I did actually go back and the very edge blocks here have been concreted in. Next up, it was time to work on this corner here where the paving meets the road. I could have put blocks all the way up to the road itself, but I'm a bit worried that this area could be damaged. If I put blocks here in a delivery truck or I drive over it in my car, it's a high traffic area, so I'm worried that it will crack or collapse in some way. So concrete seemed to be the best idea. I'm also going to put in some reinforcing mesh to give it extra strength. I'm having to work really fast with this concrete. Usually concrete has a setting time or a working time of perhaps an hour, 2 hours. This unfortunately was about 20 minutes or so. I'm told that adding Coca-Cola to concrete will actually delay the setting, so I might give this a try in the future. And the final concrete. It dried enough to kind of walk on by the following day. And moving inside to start a little bit on the house itself. The plan is to take this wall out in the kitchen area and open up the whole space. You can see that the kitchen units are in a pretty sorry state. That's going to all have to come out. Here you see that same wall facing into the kitchen from the living room. So the plan is to take this entire green area away. Here you can see the kitchen from the dining area, I guess. Sweeping round, we've got a window on the end, these French windows at the front. You can see there's an IH heater with an electric grill underneath. This item, which I originally thought was a dishwasher, turns out to be a dish dryer. Next to that we have this enormous sink. It's probably 1 meter long by about 50 centimeters wide. Having removed the doors from these top cabinets, I was then able to see how these cabinets were actually attached to the wall. Basically some long screws into the framing. It was then time to take this down. The next job was the extractor hood. I honestly thought that doing all this construction work would keep me slim, but obviously not. I really need to get back to the gym. To the extractor hood. It's made of quite light sheet steel, so once the screws are loosened, you're able to actually lift it up and over the eyelets and it will come off the wall. And the final shot of the cabinets at the top having been removed, and the extractor hood and the fan. Next up will be the bottom cabinets. And just to give you a sneak preview, this is what happened.
No! God, please, no!
Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below, and we'll see you again next time.